Hey, welcome modelers, all my stud hanger crew. I let me clear my throat here. Today I glued the last piece of wood on this airplane, and that was the fillets. The wing fairings are in the tail for the elevators. These blocks that are back there. So that's all done. It's $23.95. So I thought I'd give you a camera in hand, a little tour of what we got here, and give you an explanation of what I'm going to be doing here in the next few days. Obviously, that's the airplane right there. I captured the essence, I think. Matter of fact, I know I did. Yep. All right. Well, you know, when I said I glued the final pieces on, that's not true, because I will glue a piece of plywood here, but that's after the fuselage is covered. So those are the fairings that were glued in today. Of course, we got the rudder. It's all done. We got the fairings up here on the flaps. They're all done. The little blocks have been scabbed and round over. It's pretty nice. It actually turned out really well. I can hardly wait to build my next one, to be honest with you. Thank you, Marcel. As stated, that is that airplane right there. Less the scoop. I built so many of them without the scoop that I just didn't like that scoop because you couldn't get your finger on the venturi or even prime it very well because the scoop was in the way. So the spar, I was asked how the landing gear attached to the spar. The maple glues to the spar, and this plywood goes to the bottom and to the center of the rib. That's for Gordon. That was a 1/8" Luan. It's heavier than light ply, but lighter than 7-ply aircraft. Of course, the bell crank mount, you guys saw how I did that through the spar. I just kind of want to, we're making videos on this and just kind of want to wrap this up. For the second set of videos, we're going to be doing a finishing video to show you exactly what what goes into a finish. So I started rounding over ribs already, which is going to take some time. There's 72 of them to do. Long bar it, then round them over. Let's turn this over. That's inside the engine compartment. We got her pretty well sanded out in there. I ended up putting an aluminum tube. That's right, a lot of detail work coming up. I have to go over every one of these ribs right here to make sure that they match. These here on the bottom, pretty good. I'll have to block sand that right there, but I got this one real round, and this one here is kind of scary, but we'll figure it out. We'll get that sanded out somehow. I got these sanding sticks, or I'll get a dowel or something. I think I want to put a 16th inch piece of wood here too. This gap is too wide. We'll add a 16th piece of plywood on there and straighten that up. I'd like this airplane pretty close to perfect, if you know what I mean, because we're bringing back an old relic. But I'm not going to make it perfect at the cost of gaining a lot of weight. I ordered sandpaper again today. A roll of 320 and a roll of 400. And that was $60. But I had a gift card, Amazon gift card coming, so come on now, get in there. So I'm going to be tomorrow, or maybe later this evening, clearing the workbench off. Let's get this camera going here. There we go. Got a big mess. And as you can see, all this is a mess. It's all got to go away. But now that the airplane is done, I can pick it up off the table and set it out over there in the corner, clean all this mess up, and do the plans. And I have all the patterns. I have most of them already traced out, but I have a few, like the bottom block that I made, where I sectioned it to get the bulkheads. I can go ahead and draw those out. And the rudder, which I have the parts, the patterns out for that. And I'll draw up a set of plans. Did you guys want to watch a video on the plans or not? I mean, I don't know what Tony wants to do. He started out and he made a 10-minute video out of an hour video that involved the making of the plans. Well, that's all well and good, except they're not the plans for this. All right, Steve. Yeah, I know you're going to do the CAD work. You can. And when you get a set of drawings from me, it'll look like blueprints. The only difference is they'll be on, all I have is a roll. You know, I have about 500 feet of rolled paper. I don't have stuff that's big enough to make, you know, a set of plans, but I can do one roll with the wing, one roll with the fuselage, the stabilizer, and one roll with the top view. But I got to get this mess cleaned up. So now it's just about sanding it out. And if you want to see the weight, if you can zoom in there, to tell you I'm not BSing, I'll move the 23.95. Oh, now it went to 24. Batteries must be getting low, which is close enough because that's just the way it is. So we can figure the weight to be 50 ounces. And as John says, might get a mystery ounce or two in there, maybe 52. You got 24, 6 ounces of finish, 30, and 20 ounces of hardware. That's 50. I didn't make my 48, but it's a big airplane. I mean, it's a big airplane. across the span. Where's my good tape? There it is. 58-inch wingspan. Mid span is 13.5. 13.5 times 58. That's kind of a cheating way to figure wing area. It's you know, they say, well, it's less than that, whatever. We'll see. Let's see what it is. So we got 13.5 times 58. 783. So it's actually probably around 720. Because you lose some for the wingtips. I don't know. Brett is the math guru. He can figure it out. But 720 square inches at 50 ounces. It should be pretty good. Billy Thunderbolt is 53 ounces, and it's 700, and it flies really well. Is this Billy light? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see how you could make it any lighter. There is no extra wood anywhere. I've taken it all out of it. I even got the cowl down to zip. Where that? Okay. I do need, before I start finishing the thing, I do need to put the spinner, the metal spinner, back on it and see if I got the shape right. As I've stated, I sand several times over to yeah, you were kind of rude. Let me tell you how grateful people are. My neighbor, he hauled two sheets of plywood one day, and I gave him $20. A couple of days later, he hauled, I don't know, 25 2x4s for me, and I gave him $20 because he's got a truck. So he asked me about his motorcycle. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Well, it's a Kawasaki. I know nothing about Kawasaki's. The only thing it has in common with what I know, it has two wheels and handlebars. So he tells my old lady that I owe him. Okay, so this starts out. Let's see here. I put your throttle cables installed on your bike. No key to test. 2.5 hours and I'm tired. If it doesn't run from here, you'll have to take it to a shop. The only thing this bike has in common with what I know is it has two wheels, and I'm not sure why you told Chris that I owed you, as I did pay you to haul wood twice. Here's what he writes back to me. I didn't mean to say it like that to you, like you owed me. I said when you needed a favor, I was there for you, which only took like 10 minutes. With no excuses a few times. Don't worry, I won't ask you to do a damn thing for me anymore. I didn't know it was a big deal. You were a big motorcycle mechanic, remember? Don't worry. You're right, I won't. Now he just writes me back again. Sorry for the text. I know I was kind of rude. I just was having a shitty day. Running around all over the damn place. I do appreciate you coming over to help me what you did today. That'll be the last time. I ain't never working on that thing again. I don't care whether he's having a shitty day or not. I don't work on Kamasapis. Take it to Wendy. He can help you. Let's see. We want to do what? We got a little piece of wood I can cut out of there. We won't amount to shit, but if it ain't glued to something, you don't need it. Pretty shitty. Okay, we got that out. Not that it's a big deal. So let's let me give you a. This is what your motor mount area should look like. You shouldn't have a bunch of wood all over the place. And to seal it, I will take superfill. And put it down in there and make sure them engine bearers are sealed up. Then I will Z-epoxy it. I'll probably sand it with 180 in here because it's just sanded with 80 grit. But you want all that sealed because what happens is they get, fuel inside there and it becomes soft and weak. So you need to seal them up. And of course the cowl should be all sanded out like so. This cowl ended up, we started out, it was 1.4 ounces. Damn shit falling on the floor. Yogi said I'd get it down to a half ounce. 5.5. 16 grams, so basically a half ounce. And if I worked on a little more, I could get the 1 gram out of it. Oh, there it is, 15 now. I guess the scale is crap. But I'll work on it just a little more before I finish it up. I put that aluminum tube in there so I don't wear out the cowl. 1 pin on the front, 1 screw on the back. However, I got a pretty good gap here. I don't like it. This gap right here, it's about a 1/16. So I'm going to put something, this is a 1/16 here. Let's see if that fits. I think it's a little crooked too. I'll have to sand it. Yeah, I'll use a piece of 1/16 plywood and I'll have to sand an angle on it because it's thinner on this side than it is on that side. Must have fell asleep at the switch, but I'll get it. So I guess I'm going to. This video basically was for. Oh shit! I can't remember the video guy, Tony. To mark this is the end of the build. The build is over. Now the finish comes. I don't know if he's on, but. So we started on the 13th and ended on the 30th. What is that? 17 days. Not too bad. Now you know how I can build 5 a year. You guys got any questions on the build? I mean, there got to be something that you overlooked or I didn't cover. the key takeaways of this project were the beam and the sanding. Shit. If you get anything out of my videos, get it out of the sanding, because the sanding is the most important. I got them leading edges laser straight too. I sanded them perfect. So I'm happy about that. This is going to be an ass-kicking airplane. I'm finally going to get back in the saddle with a good airplane. And the reason why these don't fly like a lunker is the motor is set back 3/4 of an inch. The tank is set all the way back to the bell crank. So all the weight is towards the center of gravity. So when you give it up, it doesn't feel like you're raising a brick. Yeah, I don't do it all perfect. I just try hard. That's my theory on design. Keep everything close to center of gravity. And when you, let me change camera view, see if it's better. Grab your airplane, but when you're, when you're out at the field or whatever, if you want to see what I'm talking about, grab it right here and do this. And feel the weight of the thing. I mean, there's no resistance now at all. And that's what makes a good flying airplane. Get all that weight out of it. Because when you do a turn, all that weight wants to keep going in the direction it was going before you gave it control. And then to stop it, it's got to have some other action. So if you get all that weight out of there, it doesn't act goofy. You see airplanes flying along. They were just, let's see, whose airplane was it? At the FCM, they asked me to watch it. So I'm watching it, and he gives it up, and the airplane's doing this, hinging. And they asked me, why is that? Well, because the weight box is in the wrong spot. And they said, nah. I said, well, not only that, it could be the bell crank's in the wrong location. Nah, you can put the bell crank anywhere you want. Okay, whatever. The optimum location for the wingtip weight box is you get a long straight edge like this. I just eyeball it. But you put it through the center of the lead outs, through the bell crank pivot. Center of the lead outs through the bell crank pivot, which is on this side right here. And the wingtip weight box, which it does, should fall right on that line. No matter what. That way everything's in a straight line, and when you give it up, it doesn't all try to realign itself. Of course, I've been told that I'm crazy about that too. Just think, if you had the bell crank way back here, and the center of gravity is here, and you got an inch behind, the lead out, the wingtip weight box would be on the trailing edge, way back here. Well, what would happen if you gave it up? Well, it's all going to try to line up, except it's going to be doing this dance. So, what do I know? I'm just a stupid mechanic. 679 is what we started with. Let's see what does that come out to? 679. After gluing those pieces on, gotta have the mode 679. Those pieces that I put on there weighed 681 now. So those pieces I put on there weighed 3 grams. So we can live with 3 grams. I didn't go. I dealt with the neighbor's BS motorcycle. I'll tell you what, as a ex-motorcycle mechanic, it is a curse. It is a stone curse. And bikers are babies. I broke it. My bike. I got to ride. Well, sorry about your luck. Play with another toy. Learn how to fix it. I know who's who now. At least my club brothers, they respect my. I don't want to work on them. I just don't want to play with them. You know, I'll do it as a favor once in a while, but they pay me to do it, so I don't do it for free. So we got to mount the motor. I get the motor back in and check this here because I'm sure I got a pen mark there. I think there's about a 64th of an inch. I got to pull that into the spinner. And the other spinner that I got, the carbon fiber one, is a bogus shape because it's metric. It's 52 millimeters instead of 2-inch. And so it's not quite right. But it's the best, unless I take a spinner off another one. I don't want to run a Randy spinner. They're too heavy. Unless I come out tail heavy, which I don't think I will. As long as I don't load it up with paint. So when I end this program, I'm going to spend an hour just talking about the build here. When I end this program at the end of the hour, I'm going to clean this mess up. Now, some guys have asked me to come back and do the plans. I will. But I got to get all this mess cleaned up. And now I have an airplane to measure from. I'm glad I did it this way instead of try to draw a set of plans and build an airplane from a set of plans. It's not how I do things. I know what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like. Every successful airplane I've ever built, the plans were on a napkin. Just a drawing. No, not really. Carbon fiber props weigh an ounce. A 2-blade weighs an ounce. A wood prop weighs a ½ ounce. So you tell me what's better. What has more precision? Both 13-inch diameters. I'll take my rev ups over. You know, I've tried to make rev up carbon fiber props. They're not the same. The magic is in the wood. It's beech wood. It's magic. When a rev up is flying, when I'm watching somebody fly an airplane with a 13.6 rev up, I can see the prop bow as it's flying. Now everybody says, "Well, that's no good. It's got to be stiff." I don't think so. I think that bow is what makes it magic. And you can hear the difference even between an APC with Phillips entry or whatever, and that thing's gone supersonic. You can hear the tips. I don't know. The Gator props are real bad for flexing. That's Doran's prop that he made. They were so thin that they would really bow, and they didn't have any traction. I think he sorted it out towards the end, but the first ones that he made were really, really flexible. But as far as I'm concerned, the rev up is the right balance. I wish I could get them made again. You know, I got my lifetime supply, but I'm always buying them. Whenever I see them, I buy them because you can't get them. It's unobtainium. 13.6, 16.45, 15.5, 15.4. And what you do with those is that you turn them into EWs. You cut them off if you need them for a Super Tiger 60, like Gary or Jerry, I can't remember, the guy with the Al Rabe Bearcat. He didn't have a prop, and I gave him a 14.5 and told him to cut it down to 13. And what it does is it makes a 13.5 EW. Got lots of blade on the end, and they're kind of magical. Kind of magical. So we got 32 minutes in. I don't know that I can go for a whole hour talking about nothing. I guess I could just put this over there and start cleaning up. And come back when I get cleaned up. It's going to take me half an hour anyway to clear this mess up and sweep it out. Let's see. I use okay, here's how to set up a Super Tiger 60. They run perfectly bone stock. This Tiger right here will run perfectly. This is a Jim Lee Venturi. I don't use these. I use the Randy Smith Venturi, and it's a true Venturi, and the Randy Smith needle valve and spray bar. I run Sig Champion fuel, which is no longer available, but we know what the mix is. It's 10% bean castor oil and 10% Super Technoplate. This is $25 a quart. And then 10% nitromethane and the rest methanol. So that makes a Sig Champion fuel. 13.6 rev up. You let it go. I let it go at that's about anywhere from 79 to 8,300, and let it go, and that thing will just, and the Dinger 2 muffler works better than the tongue muffler, but they work on a tongue muffler, but it'll just roll along, and it doesn't break. If your airplane's light, it doesn't break. I use a Uniflow tank. If it's a clunk tank, I run them pressure. I run all my stuff pressure. That way you get a nice even. You don't get a break. It just instead of you don't need that. I just get a hard 4-stroke all the way around, and it doesn't matter. They might beep at the top. So run it on pressure, and on a real hot day, run 10% nitro. You don't. I haven't found that you really need to go 15, 20. Them guys are nitro crazy. And on a cool day, run 5%. And if you got an in-between day, mix 5% with 10% and get 7.5. Use your fuel to adjust the tameness of the engine. The head shims, I run one head shim. I think they're 20,000s. And they run perfect. I mean, A box stock one will run perfect, but the Bryant Gardners from Australia, if you can get an ABC liner, it's phenomenal how they run. They run so good, and you don't have to worry about the stupid ring. And since Bowman is not doing rings, who are you going to get to do a ring? I'm sure there's somebody that can do it. I don't know who it is, but I'm sure there's somebody that can do it. As long as you don't run the piss out of it, you know, it's, you don't run it lean. For us old guys, if you can get a brand new Super Tiger, which I have got them brand new before. I sold one to Len for 150 bucks, Lenny Burrell. It should last you a lifetime. I mean, we're old now. It should last you till you're 90. It should be the last motor you buy. I have probably 10, maybe more Super Tigers. I don't know. Super Tiger 60s, 246s, and let's see, 1, 2, 3. This one here is a Bryant Gardner. This is a Bryant Gardner setup. The other one, the other Bryant Gardner I have, and the other has his head on it, but this is a stock head. And you can look in there and see that there's no ring. Well, maybe you can't see in there. There's no ring on it. But this is the motor that's going to go in this airplane here. And I got one, so that's 3. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you look at those, that's 10 out of the airplanes, and I got 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 60s. And I'm always looking for more. You never know. You just can't have too much stuff. You know, what guy can have too much stuff? Always looking for wood, always looking for rev ups, always looking for Super Tiger 60s. John asked me, said, why'd you buy that? You don't need it. Well, I do. That way I can keep building airplanes and have an engine for every airplane. I had 2 PA-75s. I got rid of one. I got one left. I got 4 Super Tiger 46s. 2 Super Tiger 35s. I got one G21 35. I got a whole shit pile of Mercos. I just sent off a couple to Kiwiville. Let's see where that is anyway. Be nice if it got there. Jonathan Carradas bought a 61 from me, but I sent him a 49 too. Why not? I got him. So let's see. Sent messages. And John Carradas. There we are. We're looking for it. There it is. Copy. And Pastola. Paste. Enter. Track the package. It's in transit, so it says. No, it's not helpful. Let's see detailed results. Oh, it's in Auckland. It departed Auckland today at 1:32. So he should get it here tomorrow. if their mail system's anything like ours. So, Jonathan, your goodies are on the way. They should be there tomorrow, I think. Of course, I don't see them on here, but I prefer a 2-blade prop. Yep, 2-blade prop. I have carbon. I have 3-blade props. But here we're back to that thing that I talk about. They call it gyroscopic precession. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it does. You're swinging a big old disc, 3 blades. A 3-blade prop weighs 2 ounces. So first off, it's heavier. And second off, you got all that rotational mass going. Here's an experiment I want you to do. It sounds stupid. Get a office chair that swivels, goes round and round and round. And get your kid's bicycle and put the front wheel in your lap and stick the back tire out like this. Then start cranking the wheel so the rear tire's turning. Turn the wheel, lean the bike to the right, and don't move on the chair. The chair will go around to the right. Turn it to the left, it'll go around to the left. That's gyroscopic precession. And once you get all that weight started, you can't get it stopped. So, who am I to preach to the choir? These guys, Paul Walker, Brett Buck, all these super, Dave Fitzgerald, they're all these top national flyers say, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, whatever. I do know what I'm talking about. And those guys could fly a toilet seat. If they practice with a toilet seat, they could win with it. It's like Joe Gilbert. He can beat you with a ringmaster, So, but try that experiment. Crank the wheel up and turn the wheel to the right, and the chair will go all the way around to the right. Turn it to the left, to go all the way around to the left. So, bigger the prop, the more that causes. The more weight you got up there, the whole thing is lunky. I like them just like in the old days in the 60s with a Fox 35. I've never had a Fox, but I watched enough Fox 35 airplanes that go bang, and they just snap and go right up over the top. That's what you want. Watch some of the old Giske 8mm films. He'd come down and go whoa, and just boom, flat. With the big airplane, the heavy airplane, 70-ounce airplane, they go whoop and sink. Whoa. I don't like that. But what do I know? Everybody will tell you I'm full of BS, but that's okay. Here's these parts for the bottom. We gotta have them parts. This is how I made my bottom block. I carved it out of 11-pound piece of balsa, molded it, and then cut it up for the stations for the bulkheads. So that'll work. I need to get a trash bag. Here's the rudder. Some of the rudder parts. Here's a rib. We'll need that for the drawings. No, this is not a rudder. This is an extra piece. Come on now. Where are you? Can't throw anything away till I find all these parts. Here's this other piece. for the tail. Hope I got them. I'm sure I didn't throw it out. We gotta, no. Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe. I've never won a nationals. I've only qualified 4 times. I don't fly enough. That's what McDonald told me. He said, the only thing I need is to fly more. Well, he's right, but you know what? It's a pain in the ass to go out to the field. We gotta find them parts. Yep, here's the bottom part, I think. Yep, that's the bottom part. That's the center part. We're getting there. Let's see here. Yeah, this is it right here. That's the rudder right there. Here's my homemade pink stick square. Skip! Yeah, you know why they run a 1-blade prop? It's more efficient. It's not chopping its wake up. And I have no explanation why an extra 300 would run a 3-blade prop instead of a 2-blade prop. But you're right. I mean, most of the full-scale guys run a 3-blade. Yeah, it won't take long to clean this mess up. I'll just get the trash can. I'm gonna take the trash out. I just bring the trash can over and go quick and just throw it all in the shitter. 48 minutes in. I'm gonna run it for an hour. At 7 o'clock, I'm gonna shut it off, clean it up, and come back and we'll draw a set of plans. I don't know how long it'll take to do, but I'll run till dinner time anyway. So I got a rib, and I already got most of it drawn. Just needs a little refining. You know, I copied all the parts, the bulkheads and the top and bottom and all that other stuff. If you're going to build this airplane, make sure that you mold the parts, because that's the only way you're going to get it light enough. You can't do stick and stake and, you know, what do they call that? Yeah, you can't, anyway, you can't do stake joints where you put a piece of quarter on the top and 2/8 on the side and round it over and expect it to be light. You got to use 3/32 top and bottom. The fuselage sides are 3/32 with an 1/8 balsa doubler. You just got to, or else you'll be way too heavy. You start adding plywood this and plywood that. You don't need it. In all actuality, you should try to build 1 airplane per season. So this thing only needs to last 1 season. If it lasts 2, it's a bonus. I'm not like Wendy where I'm building them to last 20 years, you know. And he builds them to last a lifetime. 10 bulkhead, one every inch in the back. Way too much lumber. And Pattern Master half by half motor mounts. Now I've talked about this before, but I'm not sure. That's a caveat. I'm not sure, but I believe 256 bolts would be strong enough to hold in a Super Tiger 60, a PA, whatever. And yet I see guys drill them out for 632s, like they're got a Hemi in it or something. I don't get it. Start to put this stuff away. Probably go out in the garage to get my pencil sharpener. We'll get the sharpener. Hey ho, hey hi ho. Do yourself a favor and get you some Durablocks. You can get a set of Durablocks relatively cheap. You get a couple of flats, big flats, some small flats, and a round bar. They're for body work, but like here's one. I got a longer one somewhere, about another. I don't know. It's a Durablock. It's about as light as balsa wood. You can get some of these contour sanders too, like this. This is a Permagrit, I think. I didn't use it on this, but it would work. It would work. Just wait till you see. I'm going to do another sorcerer too. I'm going to bring back another airplane from the past. I'll have to make the pipe for it though. Let's see if I can find a picture of it. No, not quickly here. You look in this drawer here. Oh, here we go. That's Billy. I don't need him. That's me when I was fat. I sold this one to John Lowry. This is called a sorcerer. The engine is sitting at an angle. It's on a radial mount. That wingspan there, I think, was 56 inches. It was a OS 32F on a less nearing pipe. I got the header, I got the engine, I got the motor mount, and we're going to make that airplane again. Buddy, this airplane kicked ass. But it was in the 40s. It was I think it was about 43 ounces. That wing that I on the Sorcerer was monopuke. The fuselage was painted. The wings were monocoat because I can do a lighter finish with tissue now, but I just wanted to hurry up and get it done. I sold it to John Lowry. I got no idea what happened to him. Now, I got a phone call once that Viper Superglide lives somewhere because John Lowry bought that one too, and ended up selling to somebody, but they didn't. I don't know. They called me and said, I don't know what I got here, and he told me it said Super Glide on it, and I said, well, there's only one of those. Hence the Harley Davidson influence. Well, we got 2 minutes to go, and then we'll shut her off. Oh, 4 minutes. Yes, they are great. I got two. Oh, no, I got more than that. I got 4 of them. I got 2 new ones and 2 in airplanes. My Tucker Special has a 32F. My Nobler has a 32F. And then I got 2 new ones in the box somewhere. And I got the header and the radial mount here. So this mount sits at an angle like this, putting the exhaust stack right dead center down the middle of the fuselage, and I got a little OS header, and you got to have a pipe to go. It works real good. OS 32F will turn an 11.45 propeller like it's nothing. It'll turn at 30,000 RPM. I'll tell you the last thing I'll tell you before we're done. On that airplane, on that saucer, 30-some years ago, I had the 32F on the less nearing pipe. Took it to Booter Park. I didn't have a Venturi for it. Of course, it was pressure. I was waiting on Jim Lee. I wanted to fly and test the airplane to see if it was going to work, because it was experimental. I just was experimenting with those 32Fs. Took it to Booter Park. Had an open Venturi, so it was just like a combat Venturi, wide open, no Venturi. Started the engine. I let it go. It was super rich on the ground. I mean, just blubbering rich. I figured, well, we'll just fly it around and see how it goes. Well, I don't know how many of you guys ever heard speed planes. They go, that's exactly what this thing did. I was flying. I know it had to be 140, 150 miles an hour, and I wasn't using a 11.45 at that time. It was a 10.45. That thing, when it came on the pipe, I swear to God, it was like a speed plane. Yo, yo. And of course, I had 4 ounces in it. So I just flew it up high and go, God, let this thing quit. I was dizzy when I got done. Needless to say, that was only one flight on that airplane that day. We're going to try that again. I didn't even think about it, but under pressure, wide open, it was slobbering rich on the ground. I go, man, it'll be cool. We'll just fly around slobbering rich and see if it's trimmed. Don't do that again. Not good. All right, this is the end of the hour. I'm going to take out the trash, clean this crap up, and we'll be back after a bit and make a set of plans for this airplane. So we'll see you then. Fair winds, tight lines. I got to get them off to Steve. See ya.